Very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation, and a lot of these people are self-deporting. In total, the average illegal alien costs American taxpayers an estimated $70,000. That's each. The single most impactful step we can take is to fully reverse the Biden migration invasion.
Well, Trump is attending the site in Florida known as Alligator Alcatraz, which we brought you last week. That's going to house 5,000 illegals, or maybe even more. My next guest is out there finding the people to put in it. Also, funny that while construction trucks are going in and out of that whole area to build it, people are protesting it. But I'd just like to point out that in a state that made it legal to hit a protester who's blocking the road, basically, not a single person is blocking traffic. Weird. I'm going to bring in my friend Tom Homan, the border czar for President Donald Trump. They're protesting this, calling it inhumane. But, you know, Tom, I remember living in a tent in Iraq, oftentimes with no AC in the middle of summer. Nobody complained about that being inhumane for me when I was serving the country, but it's bad for illegals?
No, it's just ridiculous. All he says the highest detention standards in the industry. I'll put our detention standards against any state prison, any federal correctional facility. We got high detention standards at high cost. And look, like the president says, we're talking about people who are in the country legally that are public safety threats. And how much luxury do you want them to have? And this facility is going to give exactly what the left's been screaming about: due process, due process, due process. Guess where due process happens? At this facility, because there's going to be immigration judges there to hear their case and take their pleas. And this is going to be their last stop. When they leave here, they'll be on a deportation plane to their homeland.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like kind of checks all the boxes. That's what they were complaining about. You're giving it to them. But as I mentioned earlier in the last block, the Senate voted on the big, beautiful bill. But it didn't take illegals off of Medicaid, which was one of Trump's signature parts of this bill that he really wanted in there. Where's the White House on this? Are they going to be able to move forward in getting this done in a separate bill? Have you heard any action towards that? Because it's costing us, I don't know, like $250 billion a year.
Look, I can't get ahead of the president on that. I'm not involved in those discussions. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah, you are.
I'm trying to find a few million criminal illegal aliens in the country. So I'm not in the loop on that. The legislative affairs at the White House, I'm sure, is engaged with the Senate and the House.
Sure.
So I would just leave it at that, and we'll get ahead of them.
Man, you know what? That's why we like you, Tom, because you are front side focused on the things that you have in your purview. Also, Trump said today he'd consider looking to Mayorkas for failed handling of the border. Listen to this real quick.
Was he given a pardon, Mayorkas? Was he not?
I don't believe so.
Well, I'd take a look at that one, because what he did is it's beyond incompetence. Something had to be done. Now, with that being said, he took orders from other people. But somebody told Mayorkas to do that, and he followed orders, but that doesn't necessarily hold him harmless.
You know, Tom, a lot of people don't realize what a bleep show you were inherited, to be honest. Do you think it rises to the level of criminality, or at least, you know, negligence at worst?
Look, I think it needs to be held accountable. I've said for 4 years, because for 4 years I've been complaining about the border. Wake up every day angry at what they did to our border. And Alejandro Mayorkas knew exactly what he was doing. I don't care if he's taking orders from whoever. He's the Secretary of Homeland Security. Secretary of Homeland Security, his number one responsibility is protection of the homeland. He knew public safety threats coming across that border every day. He knew national security threats came across that border every day. He used to sit on TV and say the border's secure. He says all these people were properly vetted. No, they weren't. We don't have access to criminal data from El Salvador and most of these countries, and the thousands of Chinese come across. And do you think the Chinese government has given us any national security information on the people that smuggled into the United States? Of course they didn't. He knew this was national security vulnerability. So let's say the president ordered him to do it. As the Secretary of Homeland Security, if he had a single ounce of integrity, he would have said, I'm not doing this, I'm quitting in protest, instead of just playing the game. So I think this needs to be looked at. People need to be held accountable for what they did to this country, because we're going to be dealing with the chaos for the next decade. And God help us. We know there's sleeper cells here. We know people came across to do us harm. And God hope God willing, we can find these people before they do anything bad.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, too, is if no one's held accountable, the next set will just do it again.